Kia ora everybody, welcome or welcome back to the channel. It's Amy here, and today I have for you my 2025 colouring year in review. This is a tag that has been created by the wonderful Karen from My Colourful Country Life, and I know a lot of us do this tag this time of year because it's a really good tag, so of course I'm jumping in to do it as well. You are technically meant to tag people to do the tag, but I don't. If you want to do it, count this as your tag. If you're waiting for somebody to tag you, this is your tag. I'm not going to tell you to do something. You do it if you want to do it. You don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Anyway, it is a really good tag. I will link My Colourful Country Life down below, and I will also link the video where you can find the full list of questions so you can answer it yourself, because it's a really neat tag. But yeah, we've got a few things to go through and a few questions to answer. I've got piles and piles of stuff around me, so we'll move the colouring journal and we'll get into it. So the very first question is your top 10 favourite pages, and this is what 10 completed pages are your favourite from this year. So I went back through and watched all my completed pages videos and made a list. And normally when I'm answering this sort of question, I have too many. And it's like, oh, this time I was like, I'm not sure I'm actually going to hit 10, but I did hit 10. I was trying to not put multiples in one book. If I put multiples in a book, then it became a bit easier. But without hitting multiples, I just hit 10. It was really straightforward for me this year, which is really surprising. But there were 10 very clear favourites. So, or at least 10 books were very clear favourites. So, yeah, very surprising for me. So the first one is Mythomorphia by Kirby Rosans. Kirby usually ends up in my favourites. He's my favourite illustrator, so usually I end up with a couple of Kirbys in my favourite, and this year is no exception. So I didn't do much in Mythomorphia, not that there's much left to do in this book. But one of my favourites is this kitten page. Kieran? I don't know. I love how it turned out anyway. I am really pleased with this one. I just think the colours of it are gorgeous. And for something that came together in a day, like I turned this out in a day, I'm really pleased with how it came together. So for the background, it is a watercolour with some iridescent watercolour thrown and splattered on top. And then it's Prismacolor for all the colouring with some more gold ink splatters on top. So it's got a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of shine, no glitter, but is shimmery from the paints and the iridescence. I just really like the colour scheme and how it comes together. Oh, and there's some paint pen as well. Yeah, there's just something about it that I'm just very pleased with this page. And I look at it and I'm like, yes, this was a good page. So that is one of my favorites. This is not in any particular order. This is not like my top 10 countdown or anything like that. This is just the 10 favorites from the year. I just have to put the hairband back around it. And I have Alien Worlds, and you'll probably know which one this is. The neon page. It's not the only page I did in Alien Worlds this year. I was surprised. I thought this was my only page in Alien Worlds, but I did do one other double page spread. But yeah, this one's, I still love it. I still love it oh so much. And I'm still so pleased with how it turned out. You can see my actual colour palette here if you need to look at the colour palette. But yeah, I was really wanting to create that neon glow effect, and I'm very pleased with how it did come out. It is entirely Prismacolor with a little bit of paint pen just to do some like highlighting and make the glow effects appear more glowy. Yeah, I have to hold it at a certain angle or else we get shine reflex because of the Prisma. But I do absolutely love how that one turned out. That's Alien Worlds, also by Kirby Rose Arms. I did allow multiple books from the same illustrator. I just didn't want to have multiple pages in the same book. Then I have Ken Matsuda's coloring book. And for this one, it is this frog page. I love how these turned out. I still love this one as well, but this frog page just absolutely love the colors and how the whole thing turned out. So for this one, I did look at Ken Matsuda's actual work and take a lot of inspiration from his actual work. So because doing this sort of color placement is very difficult for me. So I just realized I am being incredibly backlit here. So we'll just bring my light across so it's not so much casting shadows, hopefully. That should hopefully help. Good professional recording. But yeah, so this one has been coloured with Faber-Castell Super Tips and other water-based markers, where I've coloured them on a palette and then picked them up and used them like watercolour. So that's all the different colours, and yeah, I still absolutely love how that one turned out. I want to do the whole book like this. Very much inspired by Jackie of Spare Room Studio. But yeah, the Ken Matsuda colouring book. Fourth of my favourite pages is Mythographic Fantasy Forest by Fabiana Atanasio. And we have this one here. I love how this one turned out. I love this book. I love Fabiana Atanasio. I have not done anything else in this book except for this one page, which I am a little sad about, and I do want to work more in. But I do love how this one turned out so much. So yeah, I've used Inktense to base the page and then Polychromos to shade with some paint pens. And then I've also used some Stickles glitter gel to do all the little stars, and there's a bit of glitter up this way as well. And I just love the glow effects on the face in the dark to light. This will look a lot more effective when I also put a border around it as well, which is often the case I need to do. I did buy a very chunky black Posca pen, like a 5mm, so it's a lot easier to do borders now. So shouldn't procrastinate that as much now. So yeah, that's my page in Mythographic Fantasy Forest. And then we have Leon's Journey, which this one almost broke my rule because I kind of want to do both of these. I love both of these pages, but I had to go with this one. I mean, the introduction page is gorgeous. I also really loved the buddy that I did in here with Jess from Colouring Bumblebee, which is this one here. Also really love that. These are the pages that I've done in it this year, and I love all of them, but this one in particular with the rainbow bokeh style background, and oh, I just love it. And it's flowers, which is something I normally wouldn't expect to love as much as I did, but I love this page. So this one uses a... Did I use Inktense or did I use crayons in the background? I used a water-soluble media in the background and did the gradient, and then I used a paint pen to do all the bokeh dots, and some of them I lifted with my finger to make more translucent, and some I left solid, so we got some variations in dots in the background. This has all been coloured with Polychromos pencil, except for the butterfly, which was done with Prismacolor because I wanted that really bright pop of blue, so I wanted that intense blue from Prismacolor, but the rest of it's Polychromos pencils. And I did use a black fine liner on the fur of Leon to make it just appear even blacker, to darken it right up. So there's a bit of fine liner also worked in here, plus a little bit of paint pen for like whiskers and some highlights and flowers and stuff like that. Yeah, this is Leon's Journey by Kanoko Igusa, which absolutely gorgeous. Romantic Country. This is the first Romantic Country. And I have the Old Rose Tea Room. And I love this page so much. It's still one of my favorites. I'm still so happy with my little sheep and the painterly vibes and just how sweet, and I really wanted to give it that old English countryside vibes, and I really feel like I did achieve that with this page. Absolutely adore this old rose tea room. Absolutely adore it. Yeah, I think that's the only one I've done in here still. Yeah. But I know Erica of Elm Colours has a hashtag this year to do more work in romantic country, at least for the first couple of months of the year. So might get some more done in romantic country. Speaking of Erica, we did a buddy in the Mighty Nine, and Erica has also done this tag, and it was really cool to see that her version of the page also ended up in her 10 favourites for the year, because it's definitely one of my favourites of hers that she's done. My version is one of my favourites that I've done, and it was just such a wonderful buddy, because of course we did, I have to hold this up this way, we did the Jester cupcake scene, which, such a powerful scene in the show, such a crucial moment, and so cool. And this is going to be a nightmare to show because of the light reflect, so I do apologize because the pencils are a little shiny. Kind of works like that. We'll do it like that. Bit of an odd way to hold it, but pencil shine is no joke with this page because there's a lot of pencil. So I did use water-based markers to base the page, and then I did use a mixture of Pablo's Polys and Prismas to colour. So lots of different colours of pencils, and then there's a little bit of stickles on the cupcake. I use like a really fluoro pink on the icing, and then like a blue on the blueberries, so that there's a little bit of glitter. And I really wanted to create a super dark room for the hag's hut, so there was very little light sources except for the cupcake pink glow and a little bit of light from this candle. So yeah, I was really trying to do some very extreme lighting, which if I can show you this without the shine, you can see it a lot more clearly, but as you can see, it's very shiny, so it's very hard to show. But I do absolutely love this one in the Mighty Nine colouring book. Right, number 8 of my favourites is another mythographic. It's another Fabiana Atanasio mythographic, and it is Fairy Wonderland, which I feel like is Fantasy Forest Companion. I feel like these two books go together, which is also funny because they are two of my favourite mythographics as well. So but I have this one here, my little rock giant, and this one started out as such a whip disaster, and then when I finally got back to it, I just love how it turned out. So this one I started by basing with alcohol markers, and I used Inktense to base the rock because I can get like a really mottled grey, different tones for rock. So I used that to base all the rock, and then just a bright, like it was very bright colours to base all the plants and the background, and our bright little kitty here. And then I took black and grey water-based markers, and I coloured over the whole thing except for our little kitty. So I went for grey all over the grey of the rock, and then black around the edges. And I used water and a brush to activate those water-based markers, and just sort of blended together, working outwards from the kitty and bringing some of that black in. So you can see some of my messy edges, because again, I need to paint around the edges to block this off. But because I used alcohol marker and Inktense to base this before I did the water-based markers, they didn't move, but the markers moved, and it just created sort of like a gradient on it and darken the edges, which allowed me to come in and like do some light reflects and make it look like a little kitty here is glowing, which is what I wanted to do. And then, so yeah, I came in with some, by the look of it, Pablo's and Polly's to shade. There's a little bit of paint pen for all these little purple bits, plus some, it might actually be Prisma for the purple glow on the rock itself. Definitely some paint pen, a little bit of gold metallic for these wings as well. There also looks like there's some glitter on the page, but that is actually from the water. When I activated the water-based markers, there was actually some glitter in the water, and I did not realize. A little bit of shimmer, but I don't mind that little bit of subtle shimmer on the background. So, you know, I don't mind that there's a little bit of glitter there too. I think it's really sweet. But yeah, I absolutely adore this page, and I think it's so, so neat. So very happy with that. See, that's Mythographic Fairy Wonderland. Right, number 9 is actually a PDF, and I have it pulled out ready to show you. It's actually a freebie. This is a freebie that you can download and color yourself for free. This is by Lana Green, and it's one that I did in January, back when I was running my hashtag, Fabulous Freebies. I gave up on that. I have come to accept the fact that I am not someone who can run a year-long hashtag or a continuous hashtag because of my mental health. I step away and I can't, I just can't run those things. I enjoy how much of the community is like looks for hashtags and engages in hashtags, and so many people participated in Fabulous Freebies. It was so cool to see. I have not got the spoons to keep running it, to remember to post, to keep on top. It means I have to go on Instagram, and if I'm not in a mood to deal with social media, like, I need to bunker down. So yeah, I've just come to accept I can't run hashtags. So if anybody wants to take up the mantle of Fabulous Freebies, please feel free to. I'll send you a list of all the freebies I'd researched and ideas that I had. But yeah, I'm just not running Fabulous Freebies because I can't. But I enjoyed it so much. And I love how this one turned out. So we did this for my birthday month, because it was for the Fabulous Freebie for January, which of course is my birthday month. January 8th is my birthday. So I coloured her for my birthday, and this hairstyle with the rainbow fringe but the blue hair, I had dyed my hair like that in the past, so I had to give her my rainbow hair, which I love. And then I just put on rainbow jewelry, cute red dress to match the plate, and the little rainbow balloons. And then I did use like an iridescent watercolor in the background to just put that little splotch in. But I absolutely love how this page turned out. I particularly love the blending on the skin, and yeah, just very, very happy with it. So alcohol marker base, and then polychromos pencils for shading, plus the iridescent watercolor for the background. I might have come back in with a little bit of white paint pen just to add some little highlights back in, but yeah, no, there's a little bit on the blueberry, so I did do some up there. Yeah, absolutely love. And again, it's a freebie, so you can go to Lana Green's website and download it for free and print it off and color it, which is awesome. So yeah, it just lives in this folder of a bunch of her other freebies plus some of her Patreon PDFs. And then the final favorite of the month, and this is where I'm like, do I have multiple from the same book? Because I could have very easily done multiple from Naoko Neko's Stories of Precious Cats, which is one of my favorite books, so it's not surprising it ended up in my favorites. But I had to do the Pirate Kitty double. I love this double page spread. I love how bright and colourful it is. It's got the kitties. They're playing pirates. It's one of my favourites in the book. It's glittery with all the treasure. Yeah, I love how the spread turned out. And so, so beautiful. I had so much fun working with and colouring all of that. So yeah, I almost honorable mention is my Pastel Skitties page, which was also done this year. And this is where the debate came in, because I was like, if I could have the same book, I would do both of these. But because I decided to not have from the same book, didn't. And when I compare the two, I love the Pirate Kitties double just a little bit more, but I do really love my Pastel Kitties. So this is like an honorable mention. This is so close. So close. This is number 11, but it would be in the top 10 if I allowed doubles in of the same book. But I just really wanted to show 10 different books. yeah, that was my 10 top pages for the year. And now let's get on to the next question. Question 2. Most liked page on Instagram. Which of your colored pages received the most love on Instagram this year? Is it different from your favorite pages? It is. I was really surprised when I went through and looked at the stats of my Instagram. Now, I'm not the most active on Instagram, just like YouTube. I take breaks away from it, and I do forget to post a lot of the time. But I did post some stuff on Instagram, and there was one piece in particular that went nuts on Instagram. Everything else kept around the 100 or so likes, and, you know, kept very much like, oh yeah, usual. Like, there was a very clear trend, except for this one page which had 377 likes, and I think like everything else had like 2,000 views, and this for some reason had like 6,000 views. Like, this one was almost triple everything else on my page, so it's a very oddball one. But that is from Dark Fairy Tales by Kirby Rosans, and it is my Cinderella Dancing with Death page. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this page. I still think this is cool. This is still in like my top 20 of year. I still think it's a lovely page, but it's not one of my top 10s of the year. So it's really interesting that it has gotten so much love. And I think a big part of why it's gotten so much love is also how I colored it, because I got a lot of questions about how I colored it, because I used water-based markers to color it. This has been colored with super tips, essentially. And so when people learned about the fact that it's been colored with water-based markers, there was a lot of questions about technique and how things are done. So I also do think it's like the color palette and the light and dark. And it was also done during the release of Dark Fairy Tales, where it was just all over the place and super, super popular, and everybody was coloring it and everybody was sharing it. So I think it's also just the timing of when this page was done as to why this one is so much more engagement than anything else on my Instagram. So yeah, just interesting retrospectives to look at. And yeah, I've still got my little color palette sheet there for my plan, but I do really love the page. Please don't think that because it wasn't in my top 10 I don't love the page. I do. It's just not my top 10. But I would put it in my top 20. So yeah, Dark Fairy Tales by Kirby Rosans. Question 3. Did you set any colouring goals at the beginning of the year, and were you able to meet them? Now, I did kind of set goals. It's interesting if you look back on my colouring journey. 2023, I had some very hard to achieve, very set rigid goals. And then in 2024, I had a couple of goals that were achievable, but they weren't like, they were still like, these are the goals. And then in 2025, I was like, oh, I've kind of got some goals, and it's this. So my goals for the year was pretty straightforward. I wanted to keep my work in progress total under 10. I had in 2023 worked really hard to get my whips down from well over 100 to 58, and then we got it down to 19. And then in 2025, I started the year with 4 whips, and I just wanted to keep my whip list to under 10. And for the most of the year, I managed to keep it under 10. I was very, very close, except for in December, which is something we'll talk about later on. But yeah, in December, I didn't. And so I'm ending the year with 16 whips. So it's very close to keeping it for the whole year. But yeah, by December, no. I also started the year with, I need my notebook for this. Oh, goodness. Where are you? Oh, where's anything on this table at the moment? There you are. These books all around me. So I started the year with 93.1% of my collection worked. So that was 231 of 248 books worked. And I had 17 unworked books, which was 6.9%. So just under 7% of my shelf was unworked. And my goal was to actually work that 7% and end the year with every book in my collection worked. That also did not happen. There was a lot of books purchased this year. And this is actually a question that comes up later, so we'll talk about it when we get to that question. But I did not meet that goal. And then I had my hashtag fabulous freebies, which I was wanting to do one every month, and obviously that did not happen because of mental health. There were some other things, like I just wanted to remain semi-consistent. I wanted to make sure I actually tracked everything I actually coloured this year. I did manage to do that, even on the months where I didn't, like, September, October, where I might have stopped colouring and then I had a bit of a breakdown and, I just kind of had to smush things together. I still managed to track everything I coloured this year. I didn't forget to track anything or have months where I didn't write stuff down. So I did manage that, which is pretty cool. But that wasn't like a hard and fast goal. That was just like it'd be really nice to actually record everything this year so I could look at the end of the year and know how much I've coloured or know what I've done. So that was cool. But yeah, the three sort of core goals I had of keeping my whips under 10, working every book in my collection, and doing a fabulous freebie every month. Nope, nope, and nope. And that's okay. These things happen. Okay. I've also got a big thing of liquid near me because I'm going to need that because there's going to be a lot of talking. Question 4. How many different colouring books did you colour this year? I can actually show you this one because of the fact of how I tracked and because I was being really good about making sure I tracked this year. So on my tracking sheet, one of the things that I introduced was a last updated tab. So I could actually write down when I worked in books, which made it real easy to go and sort this column at the end of the year and see all the different books that I worked in 2025, which you can see by this list is quite a few, because I managed to work in a whopping 189 different books, which I am really pleased about. Like, that's a huge amount of books. And my collection total is 443 books. So I worked just under half of my books. And considering the fact that I got 212 books this year, yes, I almost doubled my collection this year. This is including also unhauling 17 books. To work 189 books is a huge amount. So yeah, again, I'm very happy with the amount of books that I worked this year. Which rolls us into question 5, which is, how many pages did you colour this year? Did you set any personal targets? And how many do you average per month? Which again, I actually have that worked out on the spreadsheet, which is great. So if we go over to the side of my spreadsheet, I have this little thing here. So I've always kept my average for a reason, but we have all my monthly totals here. And I realized as I was trying to sort this, I didn't actually total this up. So I did a little calculation on the side here for the total, and I had to pull out a calculator and triple check this because I was like, this cannot be accurate. But it is. I managed to colour in the year of 2025 463 pages, which blew my mind. Like, I knew I had some big months, like particularly August, where I did 101 pages, and 61 in July and 45 in January and 62 in April. Like, I had some big months, but I also had 20, 0 in September, 20. So I had some smaller months as well. So I was really shocked when I saw that I had 463 pages that I coloured this year, which does work out to an average of 38.6 pages per month. So yeah, just under 40 pages a month is a pretty reasonable average, which is definitely up, because I used to say I average 21 pages a month, and it's like, oh, I think I average a bit more than that. But the reason why I have the average is because I actually have a total thing here. So this is how many pages are colourable in my collection, and it takes away how many pages are actually done, so how many pages I have left to do, which gives me how many years it'll probably take me to complete my collection. I have over 46 years worth of colouring in my collection. But the reason why I find that fascinating is because I did 463 pages this year. 986 pages is the total amount of coloured pages in my collection. So I did almost half of my completed pages this year. Like, this is a huge amount when you look at how many pages are done. And also why I will not be doing a everything I coloured in 2025 video. Because could you imagine how long that video would be with 463 pages to go through? Like, that would be ridiculous. I do a complete collection tour every January. You're going to see the complete collection. So it'll be half of the complete collection is everything I coloured in January, in 2025. I know words. And yeah, I didn't actually set a personal target for how many pages to complete this year. It was just I wanted to colour. After having so many goals previously, it was just I wanted to colour. Okay. Question 6. Community participation. How many buddy colours, hashtags, prompts, or challenges did you take part of this year? I did track down buddy colours. I didn't write down any hashtags, prompts, or challenges. Admittedly, I don't really do a lot of hashtag prompts and challenges. Again, I forget to post things a lot of the time anyway. So yeah, there's like almost none. For buddy colours, out of 463 completed pages, only 30 of them are buddies. I do not do a lot of buddies, and I thought I did a lot of buddies, but no, I don't actually do a lot of buddies. And I'm actually going to probably even limit them even less in next year. Like, I love community participation, but I want to colour what I want to colour. And buddies are wonderful, and they have pushed me to do pages that I wouldn't normally do, and they've helped me connect with people. But there's also a pressure. I know a lot of us feel it, and we all say, oh, most buddies are, you know, fine when you say, look, I couldn't get to it, which is true, which is what happened in December. I had a bunch of buddies that went, yeah, no, I'm not getting to this. And I've never had a person go be like, because I didn't complete a buddy. But genuinely, I like buddies, but I'm really going to be limiting a lot of it next year. So please, if you message and I'm like, yeah, no, sorry, it's just, I need to not for my mental health. I need to not. So yeah, I'm probably at the most going to be doing 1 to 2. And this kind of includes group pages as well. And I'm in a lot of groups on Instagram. So I'm already have been doing not a lot of group pages, and I'll be doing even less. So yeah, I'm also going to try to avoid joining any groups on Instagram, because it's not like I'm trying to socially isolate myself. It's more I'm trying to give myself space for when I can't handle being in the social space. But then when I can, it's like then I can reach out. And it's still a case of like, if I see, you know, the big thing I see is people's colouring plans. I'm like seeing people do pages, and it's like, I want to do that page. And then I'll message them and be like, hey, do you want to do it as a buddy? And then I feel like I have to complete that page, even though I might change my mind. So instead, I'm just going to make a note of things I see in people's pages, plans, videos, and be like, oh, I might want to do that page too. And then pull it out. And then if I get to it and complete it, I can message that person, you know, 3/4 of the way through the month and be like, hey, I've also completed this page. How are you going? And maybe it'll become an impromptu buddy in that sense. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But the idea is less buddies. I am going to try, like, maybe doing, I want to say I want to do a hashtag a month, but I really don't want to put that emphasis on it. It'll be, if I see something that inspires me, I'll do it. But it'll also be very much like, I'm just going to colour what I want to colour. Yeah, there's no pressure and no rules going into next year. Right, question 7. Whips at the end of the year. How many work in progresses do you have at the end of the year? So, as I said, one of my goals through 2025 was to keep my work in progress list to 10 and under. And I did for the majority of the year. until we hit December, because I realized that even having that goal of trying to keep my whips 10 and under, I need to basically take away everything. I need to be able to do a page, only do the element on the page I want to color, and then walk away. And if I end up with 100 whips again, I'm going to end up with 100 whips. It's fine. I've worked those whips down before. But for now, I just need to not have anything like that, because it got to a point where I got very burnt out in December, and then I wanted to do a background on a page. So I did the background of the page, loved the background, had a blast. It was exactly what I needed to do. But I was feeling like I had to finish the page because I had done this background. And it's like training my brain to go, actually, no, you don't have to finish the page. Like, you've done this background, that's what you wanted to color, and that's all you wanted to color on the page for now. So you've got the colors written down, you've got it in there, close the book, walk away, do something else that you want to do. So that's why I want to take away this goal of next year of the whip thing. If my whips explode next year, my whips explode. It's going to be okay. So yeah, I am ending December with a lot of whips because of that realization that that's what I need to do. I will say, however, one thing that I am really proud of with the whips is that while I'm ending the year with 17 work in progress pages, all of them, bar one, were created in 2025. So I have very little old whips. And the only whip that is not from 2025 is one from 2023 in Alien Worlds, which is the Crystal's Arrival at the Planet double page spread. And I will eventually get to this, because this is a book that I'm in a group for. Luckily, it's not a do a page every month group. It's a work at your own rate type group. So it's the kind of group I can very much vibe with. So yeah, I will eventually make my way to the Crystal Kingdom. Like, I'm working on the Tech Planet now, then I have the Rock and the Lava planets, and then we're at the Crystal Kingdom, back at the Crystal Kingdom. So I will eventually make my way here, and maybe one day I'll get inspired and just want to color a bunch of crystals. But if not, it's fine. I'll get there eventually because of how I'm working this book. So yeah. So that is my only whip that is from before 2025, and then all the 16 other whips that I have all been created in 2025. So I'm pretty pleased with that. There's very few old whips now. All right, question 8 is untouched books. How many coloring books are still untouched on your shelf by the end of this year? So as I was saying, again, my goal originally was to work the entirety of my shelf, because I ended 2024 and started 2025 with very close to my entire shelf being done. It was just under 7%, 17 books untouched in my collection. However, over the course of 2025, I essentially doubled my collection, because I ended 2024, I started 2025 with 248 books, and I ended with 443 books. So that is an increase of 212 books, because I unhauled 17. So yeah, I had 248 books, and then I got 212 books, but then unhauled 17 books. So that is a lot of books that doubled my collection, essentially. So I'm ending the year out of 443 colouring books with 86 of them unworked, which is 19.4% of my collection, which is still a really good amount of my collection worked. Like, I'm still pleased with that percentage of my collection work. That is a lot of books that have been worked. And keeping in mind, I've worked 189 books this year. So, I received or brought 212 colouring books, and I've worked 189 books. So that means I've worked a good amount of those new books coming in. Not everything, but a really good amount. So I'm still, again, very pleased with that overall. Like, again, I'm not finishing the year with everything in my shelf worked, but I accepted pretty early on that goal was not going to happen. I think once I reached, I was getting close to 400 books, I was like, yeah, this goal's not going to happen at all. I was very, very much like, no. Oh, excuse me. All right. Question 9. Books completed. Did you finish any colouring books this year? If so, which ones? I did. I went from having 0 books completed to completing 3 books this year, which I'm so happy about. I knew I was close. I've got several books that I was very close to having completed. So I knew it was a potential to happen in 2025. I did not realize that my first completed book was going to be Annie Day, though. This was not on the radar of nearly completed books. But I did complete Annie Day. So there is a full flip through of this book on the channel. In fact, there's now a completed books playlist where I have both a long form where I talk about the pages and a short form where I just flip the pages. So I'll put those playlists down below. But yeah, there is that available to go watch, and I am so pleased to have Annie Day done. I love Annie Day. It is one of my favorite books as well. I did nearly put one of these Annie Day pages on here, but I just genuinely couldn't choose one, and I knew there was a completed book question, so I was like, we'll just put the whole book in because I am so pleased with this book and having it done. Yeah, still very stoked. And then you can see there's still Annie Day Fall and Annie Day Winter in here too. So yeah, still plenty more Annie Day to colour, but very pleased. So that was my first colouring book that I completed. And then my second colouring book and third colouring book were both completed in the month of December. I set myself a challenge in December to do this entire book as like a Christmas countdown, which is also how I burnt myself out in the month of December. Colouring all this, recording all this, putting up a daily video. Yeah, it was a lot. But I did colour and complete an entire book in basically under 2 weeks, because I wasn't doing a page a day. I was doing multiple pages in a day, so I could have all the videos recorded to edit and get out daily. So yeah, I did that in a very short time frame and burnt myself out on it. But I'm glad it's done. So that's 25 Miniatures to Colour Till Christmas by Camelia Anjakova. It's very, very cute. I'll show you some of my favourites on it. This one. Love, love, love this one. So yeah, this one, there's again, full flip through on the channel. Plus, it's in my December completed pages, because of course I completed this whole book in the month of December. So yeah, it's been featured a lot recently, so I won't fully go through it again. But up there if you want to check it out. And then the third one I completed, also in the month of December, was Fledgling Fairies. And this was the book that I thought I would complete first, because it was so close for so long. But then in 2025, I just kind of picked away at some of the ones that were left and managed to complete the whole book. This is quite a interesting book. And again, I do talk about it in the complete book flip through, which as of this video going up isn't on the channel. As of me recording it, isn't on the channel yet. It may be up by the time this goes up. If not, it will be coming soon. It is recorded and edited in my drafts. It just needs to go live. But yeah, I do talk about the fact that this book here is quite special to me, because this was a colouring book I had with me when I crashed a car on holiday and I got stuck out of town after a car crash, and I was dealing with some trauma, and all I needed to do was colour. So there's a lot of stuff in here that relates to memories of that car crash and that time. So this book has been through a lot with me and means a lot to me because of it. So it's really, really neat to have it finished. I realized I need to, this cover needs a bit of protection, so I am going to grab some contact and cover the front cover of this. I'm going to do the same thing on the 25 Miniatures book as well, as I'm going to protect the cover. And then I am going to have to start a brand new shelf in my collection for completed books, which is super exciting. Annie Day will stay in the folder with the other Annie Days, unless Morgan O'Brien releases another Annie Day book. And then I'll pull out the completed Annie Day and put the new Annie Day in there, which I hope he does. I love Annie Day. But yeah, 3 completed books this year, which is pretty exciting. Right, question 10. Books added to the collection. How many new books did you add to your collection this year? Right, well, I've already said it. I added 212 new books, which was almost double. My previous total was 248. I added 212. I did unhaul 17 books, though, which left us with a total of 443. Easy question. Question 11. What was your must-have release from 2025? This one was hard because, again, I got a lot of new books in 2025, but also I don't know how many new release books I got. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure of my books what got released in 2025. It's a lot. I did choose one in particular. I do have a note there. I suppose technically I should say Dark Fairy Tales because I did do a lot in Dark Fairy Tales when it came out, but it's not my favourite Kirby. I've mentioned it before. I still think it's Kirby's best work artistically, but it's not my favourite Kirby. I would say my must-have new release book from 2025, of the books that I know was released in 2025, is Mythographic Fantasy Forest. I love Fabiana Attanasio. I just think the Fantasy Forest theme is gorgeous. I think the illustrations in here are stunning. I need to show this book some more love. It's just beautiful. And as I said, I feel like Fantasy Forest and Fairy Wonderland are very much companion books. And they're like book 1 and book 2 of the same series. And I love Fairy Wonderland as well. So, yeah, this just speaks to my soul. This whole book is just gorgeous and stunning and so cute. And I love, love, love it. And again, it also has one of my favorite images of the year in it. So, makes sense. I was trying to remember if Leon's Journey was released in 2025 or not. Or if maybe like the English variant of Leon's Journey was released in 2025. Yeah, I was trying to find the printing information and then my brain got distracted, so I didn't come back to it. It does say 2025, so maybe Leon's Journey was released. If Leon's Journey was released in 2025, I'm also going to say Leon's Journey. I did get this for my birthday, and I got that right at the start of the year, so that's why I'm like, did I get this in 2025 or did I not? Because I know I got this for my birthday, so. But yeah, Leon's Journey and Mythographic Fantasy Forest are my two that I would say. Alright, I have books everywhere. Question 12. Favorite colouring supplies. Which colouring supplies did you reach for the most this year? Any new discoveries? Right, so there is my standard combo with the Polychromos, Faber-Castell Polychromos, Derwent Inktense, alcohol markers. They're just various. I now have Ohuhus, so next year I will be able to just say my Ohuhus, but yeah, various alcohol markers, paint pens, and glitter. Those are my standards, and I continually reach for them. For my glitter, Stickles, but also Mod Podge, Sparkle. I also had Extreme Glitter. These are 8 ounce or 236ml pots. I had a pot of Extreme Glitter that I have entirely used up. And this Mod Podge Sparkle is down to about here. It is also almost out. That is how much I use these glitters. So, yeah. Definitely that's what I reach for the most. But then there are some things that, as I was watching completed pages back, I was like, I use that a lot this year. So new discovery, thanks to some beautiful Happy Mail, was actually Gansai Tumby. And mixing this with some iridescent watercolor, and you can see by just how hammered my pans are here how much I have used this combo. And that is because a big thing that I did this year is a lot of this sort of idea here. So this is Animal Adventurers by Nicole Gustafson. This is also known as Nima Sprout online. But I would do things like this where I would have a iridescent and watercolor background that I would then color on top of. And so I did that a lot this year. It became a real go-to, was grabbing the Gansai Tambi and just throwing together a background and then colouring on top. And so that's another one that I did. These ones, I think these ones might just be regular watercolour. I don't think that one's Gansai, but it's definitely got the iridescent. And then for an example, using the specifically Gansai. Oh, come here. This is Paula Brune's Animal de Bois. And so yeah, this one definitely uses the Gansai with a bit of the iridescent. And this is what I would do, is I would just put it in the background and then colour on top. And I did that so much. It became, again, a real go-to for me this year. So that really surprised me when I looked back and saw just how much I had done that. And then when I looked at these palettes and pulled out these palettes, I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised, actually. Look at the state of these palettes. They are well used and well loved. So to the anonymous gifters who gave me set 1 and set 2, I've used these so freaking much. Thank you. And then this is just like a random iridescent watercolor set I found from Kmart, and I wish I bought so many more of these, because most of the colors are just about out. And several of them are out, as you can see. But yeah. And then I think that was everything. Yeah, that was the like surprising new discovery that I found for this year. All right, and then that needs to go to a different category. Okay, so where are we? Yep. Question 13. There we go. Found where I am. Question 13. Most reached for book. So obviously, if we're looking just at numbers, I coloured the most pages in 25 miniatures to colour to Christmas, because I did 27 pages in here. So technically this is the most pages I did in a book, but also this is all done in a month. So this doesn't really count as much for me. On that same note, like Dark Fairy Tales, I was like, oh, I bet I did the most in Dark Fairy Tales because I did a lot in there. I did 14 pages in Dark Fairy Tales. But again, I did that all in 1 month, and then I did not pick up this book again all year. I did that the month this got released, as I worked a lot in here and then just never pulled it out again. So yeah, I did 14 in here, but also that wasn't my most worked in book. So if we look at books where I've pulled it out over multiple months, I have 2 Camellias. So I have the 50 Zodiac themed miniatures, which I have done, I think 14, plus I've got 4 work in progresses in here. So yeah, I've done quite a bit in here. This is thanks to Jess's hashtag, which is probably the most consistently done hashtag I did all year. This is the only one I did. I forget to post it all the time on Instagram. I forget to have actually what the hashtag is, but I do look for what Jess chooses each month, and I do that. So yeah, and I had to play some catch up, but yeah, this is the most that I have done, with 14 pages plus the 4 whips in here. I also did a lot in the 50 monster themed miniatures, and that is because this book here, I just grab out 5 random alcohol markers from my tub of alcohol markers and make the color scheme work. So for example, each of these little critters, 5 random alcohol markers pulled from my tub, and that's a color scheme. So that was a really fun challenge. Plus, when I had my surgery, I did a bunch of these because it was really easy, cute, comfortable things to do. So I prepped a bunch of them, and then I just had my pencils in bed post-surgery and just coloured and coloured and coloured. So again, a lot of these were done in 1 month, but there are other months that I did more of these. So I did 20 in 50 monster themed miniatures, but the actual actual winner of the most completed pages over multiple months was actually Annie Day. As I said, I was really not expecting to finish this book this year, because when I started the year, this book that has 31 pages, I had done 6, which was still a reasonable amount in here, but it wasn't anywhere near the top. And then in January, I did 8 more, and then I did more, and then I did more. So I did 25 pages in Annie Day. And if you count the Annie Days in the other books, which autumn, and then the couple I've done in winter as well, I have done over 30 Annie Days this year. So, you know, I really do like Annie Days. So, yeah, and that's been done throughout the year. So I would say Annie Day is my most reached for book, even though technically it's not the most numerically most done pages in a book. But I definitely did a lot in Annie Day this year. Ugh. A lot in here. Yeah, here's another one. I also had some buddies to do in Annie Day winter during December that I did not get to. And that's okay. Things happen. So yeah, Annie Day. Oh, that book's heavy. Right. Question 14. Most challenging page. Which page gave you the most challenge this year? This one was also one of my favorites, and that is the Ken Matsuda coloring book, and it is the frog page. I mean, it's technically both pages, but I chose the frog one because I love the results of this one. I find how Ken Matsuda colors absolutely fascinating. Like, his use of color is stunning, and the way that he blends things. And I wanted to replicate it, but I was doing it with water-based markers. I knew it would be a challenge, and it was a challenge. But I also enjoyed that challenge, and I love the results. So it was a challenge, but it was a good challenge. And I'm really looking forward to doing some more. I do want to pull up his actual work for all of these and reference them and use his beautiful, beautiful color schemes and how he places color for all of them, because he just does such stunning work. Yeah, just his use of color is fabulous. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge of doing more of these, but also learning more about how he uses color, because it is just so beautiful. So yeah, Ken Matsuda, definitely the most challenging. Question 15. Coloring book surprise. Was there a book or a page that surprised you with how much you enjoyed it? So I actually have a couple of answers here. The first one. Oh, sorry, I had to stretch quite far to get these books. I've got piles everywhere. But I have the Paula Brune books again. So I have Animal Divorce and Fawn Fragile. I also have, I think it's called Nature. I have the third one by her too, but the page I did in that one, not so much. It's gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it's not. It was a introduction page. It was like my first page doing the Skanzai Tambi effect. But I chose the 2 pages that I did in here. So this beautiful owl one here, and then of course this double here as well, which they both aren't technically doubles. I just did them as doubles. But I chose these ones because anyone who knows me knows that I'm not a big fan of coloring flowers. And these books, you know, there are a lot of plants, there are a lot of trees, there are a lot of leaves, there are a lot of flowers, but they do have creatures in them, and it's enough that I think it just sort of gets me in the right way. I don't know, something about these books, they just kind of gel with me. I think it's also this technique that I did to color it as well. But yeah, I was not expecting to enjoy this book as much as I did, because this is not not what I would normally do, and it's not something that is my forte. I love colouring animals doing people things. I love colouring cutesy and happy and rainbows and glitter, and then it's like, boom, nature. But I really, really enjoyed it. So I was really shocked with how much I enjoyed Paula Brune. I also chose Romantic Country, The Third Tale. Erie is very much up my cutesy, adorable, wonderful colouring. But I chose the garden spread that I did in Romantic Country Free. And I really, really enjoyed this for a couple of reasons. Like I knew I would enjoy this one. Paula Brune, I went into it not expecting to enjoy it, and I loved it. I went into this one knowing that I'd enjoy it because it's Erie, and Erie's wonderful. But I was surprised at just how much I loved it. And the reason why is because I actually customized this page a little bit. So I added in these arches. I filled in these flowers to make it more dense here. I filled in these garden beds and added in more flowers and adding in those little touches and just bringing this page a little bit more to life. I had a really strong vision going into this page, so it was really neat to bring it all together, and I was just like loving the process. But a big reason is also I live streamed this whole spread, and I did it essentially as a live color along, and I had somebody coloring along live with me. So you can see I've got all the colors written down and was going in and figuring out live how to do things and discussing live and coloring things live as a live color along. So it's like a real-time live color along together, and I think that's also why I enjoyed it so much. It was a really neat way to do it because I've been asked a few times to do color alongs, but I find it quite difficult to do a recorded color along because I have to try and explain what I'm doing, but a lot of the time I don't go in with a set plan. Like I've got a vision, but I don't have a plan. I just figure it out as I go along. But if I'm doing it live on a live stream, then y'all can ask me live if I'm not explaining something correctly, or if I just forget to explain something, or you can hear me figuring it out live and go, that's not quite right, let's try this. So yeah, that was really fun to do a live color along, and I still also really love the results. I mean, it's pink and purple, it's pretty, it's cute, it's a lot of florals, but love, love, love. So yeah, that's Romantic Country Free by Erie. And then there was one more coloring, well, it's not really a coloring book. There's one more thing that really surprised me with how much I enjoyed it this year, and that was making bookmarks. I really enjoyed making a bunch of bookmarks this year. Almost in technically coming up, there's a question about new media or new techniques. I suppose this could also be surprising new materials I like. A laminator. Laminators are fantastic. But yeah, I got a bunch of different PDFs and colored in and made a bunch of bookmarks this year. And these are all Raider prints, and just there's more. I made about 60 or so bookmarks. Honestly, I need to make some more. Because I still run out of bookmarks. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun playing around with bookmarks. This is also why I've used so much glitter this year too, because as you can see, all of them are glittery as well. But yeah, really loved making bookmarks. So it's not really like a page or a book, but it was a surprising thing to enjoy so much. Right, question 16. Videos made. How many videos did you create for your channel this year? So there's a couple of different categories for this. I have the actual videos I've created plus the live streams, which gives us VODs. So for videos, I have created 77 videos. 75 of those are live and 2 of them are in drafts because that's the Fledgling Fairies flip through. The complete book flip through for Fledgling Fairies. I have the quick version and then I have the long detailed version. So again, they will go live at some point. I just have to figure out when to slot it in. But yeah, so 77 videos made, but 2 of them are in drafts waiting to be published. And then for live streams and live stream VODs, I have 87 lives. So yeah, I went live 87 times, which is quite a lot. So that means over the year of 2025, there is 164 VODs for you all to enjoy, which is a lot of content. Well, not VODs, but 164 different types of videos. Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I feel like last year I have my answers for 2024 somewhere. I should find that. But yeah, I feel like last year I hit over 200. I feel like it was 220 something for videos and live streams. So yeah, but I did have some really big gaps where I didn't live stream this year for a few different reasons, and I didn't make as many videos this year, so I'm not surprised with a little less, but still 164 is a lot more than I thought. Question 17. What is your personal favourite video you created this year? Honestly, it's always the complete collection tours or completed pages. They're always my favourite to film. They're my favourite to look back on. I do watch back my own completed pages and completed collection tours because that's how I see things that I wanted to colour. I like to look back and see how my collection has changed over the years. And they're the only videos I do consistently. Yeah, I know that they're most people's favourites as well. There's a lot of people who only watch completed pages, and yeah, I will admit I am someone who doesn't watch every video put out by everybody because there's too much to watch, but I usually try to at least watch completed pages because it is my favourite. I love seeing people's completed artworks. Yeah. If I was not including those, I did choose the video locking myself in my art room because that was actually really quite fun. There's a video where I spent basically 12 hours with some breaks, where I locked myself in the art room and just tried to see how much I could do. And yeah, that was really fun. Going forward into 2025, I don't have any set plans, set videos that I want to do. I have been asked a few times to do rank and rate, so I should probably do that. If I get the spoons, I might do rank and rate, but January is always my complete collection tour. I go through and film every single book in my collection with every single completed page, and it's always a long video. Last year it was 18 sections, and our book collection has almost doubled, and our completed pages have doubled. So yeah, I don't know how big it's going to be this year. Might put up some very long videos. I know a lot of you are like me and like really long videos, so I might do them really, really long. We'll see. Anyway, question 18. Colouring routine. Did your colouring habits or routine change this year? Yes, and quite significantly, because in, I want to say September, October. Yeah, end of October, because the end of October to mid-November was my trial. End of October, I changed my work hours. I have been working quite significantly on trying to change out my health this year. We haven't been able to make any progression with my actual illness, so I've been like, well, if we can't do anything with that, let's work on all the other things that are affected because of this illness. So this is why I've been having a bunch of stuff done to my teeth, and I'm on the wait list for some more oral surgery. I had a hysterectomy. I had quite a few things medically this year that I've been trying to sort out, and in turn doing so much better, which meant in October I returned. Well, I went to work. I've been working this whole time, but I've only been working 2 hours a day. And in October, I went and started working 5 hours a day, which is a massive change to go from 10 hours a week to 25 hours a week. Huge, huge change for me. And honestly, it's left me exhausted. It is a lot. It is really hard for someone with a disability to be doing this many hours, but I am managing to do the hours, and I'm very pleased that I am managing to do this, and it's been a real empowering thing for me personally. But because of that, it's come at the cost of colouring time. I have not coloured as much, especially towards the end of the year. There's always moments where I go up and down. I always have mental health times and times when I need to step away. But yeah, especially at the end of the year, my colouring time has been affected. I also haven't been live streaming because of the new work hours. I still need to figure out how I'm going to fit live streams in with these new work hours in 2025. So that's still something, and just with my energy levels, honestly, I have been so exhausted because of work. I've honestly finished work and then kind of just flopped into bed and watched videos, which is where the sewing has been real handy because I've been hand sewing in bed and really enjoying that. And I should really take some colouring to bed, but I haven't even wanted to colour. I haven't wanted to think. And somehow sewing is not thinking. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, there's been lots of different things where it's just, I've gone from colouring every day and needing to colour a lot every day to, there's still been moments where I've had that, but there's also been a lot of moments where it's like, oh, it's been 4 days and I haven't coloured. Which is also kind of another sign about the positivity of my mental health, because colouring is my go-to mental health activity. And the fact that there's been multiple days where I've gone, oh, I haven't needed to colour. It's not like I'm finishing work and it's like I need to colour but I don't have the energy. It's like genuinely I'm like, I finish work, I'm like, oh, I'm really tired, I'm gonna go and watch a movie in bed, fall asleep, and then 4 days later go, oh, I actually haven't coloured. I kind of feel like doing a little bit of colouring today, and then I'll maybe do like 20 seconds of colour and be like, cool, I'm done. So it's a change in, it's quite a change for me, but it is very positive. And again, I don't want to be like, that doesn't mean I'm not ever colouring, because I am still colouring. There'll be days when I'm like, okay, cool, now I'm going to go and colour, and I will colour for 4 or 6 hours because I have 4 or 6 hours and I feel like sitting down and colouring for 4 or 6 hours. And there has been nights, even when I've been exhausted, when I'm like, no, I need to colour. So I have stayed up and coloured. So there is still a bit of colouring, but it's definitely been a change on multiple fronts this year. Just with the need to colour, but also the time available to colour. But I don't mind it. Right, question 19. New techniques learned. Did you learn or experiment with any new techniques this year? Yes, there was quite a few. The first kind of technique I would say is just, I played a lot more with paint in different various forms. So I showed you already Animal Adventurers with the watercolor backgrounds, and that is something that I did a lot, is the watercolor backgrounds. But I also did a lot with acrylic paints in different forms. For example, with Mary Mariotta's Island Escape, I have this beautiful snake here, and this has been done with acrylic paints. I painted this whole page, and that was something that I did a couple of times in 2025, is work a lot with acrylic paint, which was very new for me, but also really enjoyable. I also, where's Mythomorphia? Oh. I've got one in Mythomorphia where it's the same thing. I did my random green and purple griffin, but again, painted acrylic paints. And I really enjoyed that. That one was just about the technique of painting it. I don't know why I chose those colours, but I kind of still dig it. So, yeah. Still can't explain my colour choice there, but had a lot of fun painting. So those ones I did with, like, actual acrylic paints. But then, because I've just kind of put painting as a whole thing, there's the watercolour paints, there's the acrylic paints, and then there's also paint pens. And one of the things that I kind of played around with a lot in 2025 is paint pens, but working and removing paint pens, two things. So this whip is kind of a really good example. So this is the Thomas Kincaid Disney Princess poster book, and you can see here the sky that I have done. And I've coloured in this background with, I think, some Inktense pencils and some like polys and stuff like that. But then it has some clouds drawn in the same idea with these black lines. And I've used paint pens that I've stippled on, but then I've used my finger to go in and lift and create translucency. It's the same thing that I did in Leon's journey in the background to create the bokeh effect background, but have different layers of opacity of the white to give that bokeh effect. I drew the circle in and then I used my finger to lift. And that same thing has been done here, where I have gone in, sketched in the clouds with paint pen, and then lifted with my finger to blend it out more. So that specific using and lifting up of paint pens is something that is quite new to me this year, but I really, really loved how it worked, and doing it for clouds is one of my favorite new things that I've done. The Romantic Country one Airy page, also same technique. And then keeping on with the paint theme in the Magical Lands of Laminia by Airy. So again, using that finger to lift and make the clouds, but then also using paint pens to remove lines and create more painterly style pages. Yeah, I did a lot more of that this year too. So really playing around with paint pens. Again, it's going under that playing with paint category, but playing around with paints to achieve different effects, which I really, really did enjoy. And then on the other side of that, I put water-based markers, because I also did a lot of experimenting with water-based markers. Where's the books? There. So I've always used water-based markers. I've done a lot of water-based markers as watercolor and playing around with them in that sense. But this year in 2025, I did a lot of using water-based markers to just solidly color in a page. So of course the Cinderella page from Dark Fairy Tales by Kirby Rosanes, all water-based marker. Crayola Super Tips, I think some Staedtler dual-ended ones, some various brush markers, and yeah, so I did a lot. This whole book, every page I've coloured in here, I have done with water-based markers. So that was a really big trend that happened this year. There is the Red Riding Hood ones that I just showed. There are some VODs of some live streams on the channel, and there is also a playlist, which I'll also try to remember to link, about water-based markers. I did these over 2 lives on the same day. So I did like 5 hours in the morning, went to work for 2 hours, streamed again at night for 5 hours. But I explain a lot of my techniques in using water-based markers while doing these 2 pages. So that's really good resource if you want to learn how to like essentially color with super tips. And then to show you it in another format. Oops, no, you stay in there. This is the A Court of Thorns and Roses coloring book by Sarah J. Maas. And I also did this page of the Spring Court this year. And again, this is entirely coloured with water-based markers. So yeah, that was something that I did across multiple pages this year that I really, really enjoyed. And I thought was a really fun technique that I experimented a lot with this year. I dabbled with it in the past, but I really did it a lot in 2025. So that's the new techniques learned or expanded on learning on in 2025. More water. Who inspired your colouring this year? I am going to cheat here and just say you. You watching this video, everyone in the colouring community. I know that's such a cop-out answer, but honest to God, if I was to list everybody, I would be listing the entire colouring community. I would be listing all my friends. I'd be listing and listing and listing, and this video would be 2 extra hours long as I listed people. Honestly, I could put everybody in here. It's such a cop-out answer, and I know, and I'm sorry, but I'm being lazy because there's too many y'all. But also, I appreciate all of you, and it's simple, like if you've commented on my video, if you've liked an Instagram page, if you've been in my live stream and sent through some art tags, if you've, buddied with me or just shared something on Instagram, it's inspired me in some way. So yeah, it's, even if you've just been a silent lurker in the community, you're still inspiring. So yeah, I can't list everybody here. There's too many. Right, question 21. Memorable colouring moment. Were there any special or memorable moments related to your colouring journey this year? Yep, there were two. So the first one, completing my first colouring book. Getting Any Day completed. Again, I'm pulling out Any Day again. But completing this and completing my first ever colouring book, that was pretty exciting for me. I was pretty stoked when that happened. So that was definitely a good moment. But the other one is actually completing my oldest whip. This whip has been around since before 2022. I want to say I did it in 2020, but I can't say for certain. I know that I had this whip when I started uploading colouring stuff to the channel in 2023. So that's how I know this is a 2022 or earlier, and I suspect it's 2020. It's a very old whip. And this year I actually finished it off, which was incredible. I used to cut these out of the book. Don't do that. Easy to get lost. But yeah, I finally coloured in this page. This is from Colouring Heaven's Creatures of the Night special by Sarah Richter. And this is the Children of the Night image. So I had based it years and years ago with alcohol markers. I hadn't based the entire thing. I'd only based sections of it. And so I finished basing the alcohol markers, and then I came in with some pencils and did a bunch of shading, added in, some yellow glow from the moonlight, although the camera's kind of killing a bunch of the shading, but that's okay. And just keep the palette really, really simple, and then lots of metallic on her, and the greens and the gold, and yeah, lots and lots of stone texture. Lots of stone texture. That took a while, but it's completed. And I just really got inspired one day to complete this page, and I'm so glad I did. Also, here's Black Kitty. Yeah. So that was pretty cool to finally complete that one, because that, again, has been with me for a long time. Alright, move these giant books out of the way. Alright, question 22, colouring community reflection. How did the adult colouring community impact your year? Any collaborations, friendships, or inspiring moments? I think the biggest thing is groups. I created a colouring group this year, which was not in the plans, but of course it's buried at the bottom. Nalka Netball. I loved this book, and basically in January I started doing a buddy with Candace of Happy Catastrophe, funnily enough, to do this pirate spread. And from there, so many people joined us for this buddy. We're like, hey, can I join in? Can I join in? That it formed a group. And then this group we've carried on with throughout the whole year. And so that's so cool, because that's not something I would have naturally created. I also normally wouldn't have carried on actually hosting a group for an entire year. But I have. Now, admittedly, it's a very chill, low-key group. There's not a lot of chatter in it, which I actually really loved. It's a very low-key group, which is great. But it's also resulted in not only me getting to know a lot of lovely colorists in the community and see some gorgeous pages done by them, but also just doing more in this book. So that's really, really special to me. So Naoko Neko, which was already one of my favorite books in my collection, already a super special book because it's a beautiful gift from a dear friend of mine, like already so special, has just become even more special because of the group. So, and that's the community participation in it. And definitely there are certain books like Alien Worlds, because of the group of that is a lot more special because of that, though that was before 2025, though that carried on 2025. But yeah, there's a lot of the biggest thing the community has impacted this year for me is the creation of groups, and how many more groups there are now for whole book color alongs or themed color alongs and stuff like that. So yeah, and so many more groups this year. And because of that, there is some stuff coming up in the community that I'm really excited for, that is cool collaborations that I've met people for through groups and different things and stuff like that. So yeah, there's stuff coming up that I'm really excited for too, that is awesome. Question 23, proud learning moment. What's a moment where you challenged yourself creatively and how did it turn out? So, I've buried all my books. I've already talked about a few of these, but yeah, I was trying to pull out different books for every question, but some of these questions, the books just apply across all of them. So I've already talked about them, but Leon's Journey, where I was figuring out this bokeh background and playing around with the paint pen and the dappling of the colour. That background in particular, pushing myself to do that and freaking loving how it came out. So definitely that one. And then the Ken Matsuda, I've already talked about. This was my most challenging page of the year, but also I love the results. Where I really pushed myself creatively to do that. But again, I did have a guide, so I feel like that one was like helped a lot. And then the Alien Worlds neon page. Whoops, nope, not that one. That one, the neon page. Because while I had some like inspiration images, I didn't have a set color placement guide like I did with the Ken Matsuda one. So I had to kind of figure this out for myself and figure out how the neons worked and how it would all come together. And I'm still really proud of this result as well. So yeah, these three definitely some of the more challenging pages of the year, and very proud of all three of these, and all of them ended up in my tops of the year, which says a lot. Okay, question 24. Looking ahead to 2026, what are your colouring goals or plans for the coming year? So I kind of hinted at this before, but my goal for this year is to have no freaking goals. Nothing at all. We're just nothing. I don't care how many whips I create this year. I don't care if I don't work in a single untouched book in my shelf. I don't care if I quadruple my collection this year. I don't care if I do participate in buddies or I don't participate in buddies. I don't care if I only ever use one set of media or if I do all different types of media. If I don't complete a book, there are no rules this year. I am just like at a point now where after years of like, these are my goals, these are my goals, these are my goals, these are my goals, now it's like, screw the goals. And there is a lot of inspiration from, again, I'm going to say Candace from Happy Catastrophe here, has a motto where if you're not feeling it, turn the page. If you've watched the beautiful Erica from Elm Colors, I call her a whip queen because just so many whips, and it's so cool to see her flip and just see all these in progress pages. And I know she wants to work more of them, but it's really cool to see how full her books are and how she'll work on a page till she's like, nope, and then walk away from it. And yeah, there are moments where I do sometimes go, okay, I'm going to force myself to color this page, and I still like how things turn out, but it's like, it's not, I love the page. So it's something I've worked on more and more, is not forcing myself to do pages. And that's kind of the goal. It's just going with the vibes, going with the feels. And if the feels are to not color for 6 months of 2026, we're not going to color for 6 months of 2026. That's basically my attitude this year. There is no pressure. There is nothing. The goal is no goals. And I know me, and halfway through the year I'm going to be like, oh, I might try and aim to do this. Like Mythomorphia, for example. Mythomorphia, I've talked about for years and years how close this is to being completed. And I mean it's close. There is 12 spreads left to complete in Mythomorphia. I could set a goal very easily to do 1 spread a month and I would have this book completed in 2026. That is a really logical goal. It's a very achievable goal. I'm not going to do it. If we go another year and this book's not completed, we're going another year and this book's not completed. that's how we're rolling this year. All I want to do is color what I feel like coloring, and that's the goal. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward for 2026. Wow, sorry, I was just reading question 24 on my thing. So yeah, that's why there's also not going to be like a 2026 plans video, because what I do, show my face for 2 seconds and go, nothing, and then end the video. I did think about doing that as a joke. Just doing that as a joke video. Alright. Question 25. 2026 new books or products. Are there any new books or products you're really looking forward to in 2026? I have actually been avoiding looking. I'm trying to avoid. I doubled my collection this year. I don't technically need any new books. There's always going to be something that sways me, but I'm trying to avoid looking. There will be undoubtedly things that are released. I learnt yesterday, like, there's a Tommy Mickle, the Animal Band Tommy Mickle that was released in 2025, which probably would have gone on my 2025 must-haves if I actually had it. It's very, very cute. I'd love to get that book. And then I learned yesterday that there's another one being released that's like an Alice in Wonderland style one. That one is probably going to be on my, like, I want to get that when that's released. And I know that there'll be more coming out. There's more books on the way from every illustrator. I'm sure there's going to be books that I want, but I'm trying to avoid looking. I'll get swayed at the time. There's always something that I'd like to add to my collection. So there's no specific things. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get swayed very, very easily. But yeah, those last 2 questions are kind of a mere point to end on here. So I figured to end the video before we finish, I would show you one little bonus, which is my coloring journal. Because of course we are now going to be retiring 2025, which is kind of sad. Like, I love this coloring journal, but I'm looking forward to using 2026, and I'm really glad that I've got this down packed. And I realized that, you know, in a few years when I have a few of these, it's going to be really cool to look back and see, because I do these covers, like I design these covers. So for 2025, I took a collage page from Joanna Basford's 30 Days of Creativity, and then I added like the little title and a couple more bits to it, and then just some gold paper on the back. And yeah, that became my coloring journal. And it's worked really well. Now, it gets really messy in here because at the end of the day, my coloring journal is about being functional. It is not about being the most beautifully aesthetic coloring journal. As long as I can use the journal, that's all I want. But yeah, it worked very well. This is just a mathematics notebook that you'd use at school. They cost me a whopping $3 full price, or if I buy one in a week and put it away, it'll cost me about 20 cents because they go on crazy specials before school returns. So yeah, really sad to be letting this one go, but it's done its job, and it's done its job. Yeah, I'm gonna miss this cover. However, we're moving on to 2026 with my beautiful Tui and Kiwiana inspired black and gold and green and gold this time. Got some Pudakawa in the back there and more Tui. I've got this here because I might make a little pocket and put some bits in. And yeah, so this year we're going green and gold for the notebook. So we designed this on a stream recently, and I really like how it came together. And yeah, January's all set up with a plant theme, apparently. But yeah, I'm now going to go and put this on the shelf and retire 2025 and officially begin 2026. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much for being here on the channel, for spending 2025 with me, and let's look forward to a wonderful 2026. I've got no plans, as you heard, but there will be some colouring. So yeah, there will be some videos coming up. Of course, we are now in January, which means my complete collection tour is the next big project for me to film. and that is when I go through every single book in my collection, show you every single completed page, and it's going to be a massive video to film, and I'm excited to get to it, and I'm excited to show you all because I know it's well loved. So that will be coming soon. But in the meantime, enjoy this wonderful tag created by the beautiful Karen of My Colourful Country Life. Again, check out all the people I've tagged below. If you want to do this hashtag, please do feel free to do the tag me as if I tagged you. I would love to check it out. I'm really good at seeing a video if you tag me in it. If you don't, I may not always see it because, yeah, I subscribe to a lot of people. I try. I'm going to try and check out a few of these because I love seeing people see your review as well. Anyway, I'm going to go and drink a ton of water and rest my throat. But all the aroha to you all. Take care. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.